This is a global construction spree on an unprecedented scale. A joint endeavor of 3/4 of the world's nations.
It is a partnership of friends working together.
It reshapes the globalization as we know it.
We see it as a constructive mechanism for China to be positively engaged with the region and beyond.
And it breaks through the growth pattern that only favors the few.
The People's Republic of China is one of the most, I would say, progressive countries.
It is a vision set to induce changes. It has been 10 years since China launched the Belt and Road Initiative. So what exactly has the BRI changed through all this time? First of all, the BRI has changed the growth momentum of the Global South. 10 years ago, the Belt was unveiled in the world's biggest landlocked nation, Kazakhstan, and the Road in the largest island country, Indonesia. The initiative has set its eyes on the developing world right from the beginning. Many that had long been ignored or strung along are getting the funds they badly need to break the vicious cycle of poverty and underdevelopment. Indonesia is launching its first high-speed rail. Mozambique gets Africa's longest suspension bridge. The Maldives sees its airport expanded on Coral Islands. Pakistan raised its power capacity by 60%, ending the history of irregular 10-hour outage. At over 2,000 years after the golden time of the ancient Greece, Prius made a thrilling comeback and once again becomes the biggest port across the Mediterranean.
The People's Republic of China is one of the most, I would say, progressive countries that has tried to partner in so many sectors with the countries in East Africa. Look at the infrastructure programs in Tanzania, in Uganda, in Kenya, in Kigali, and also this. Largely, they are supported by China.
The BRI is quenching the thirst for infrastructure investment among the Global South nations. It is estimated that $1 to $2 trillion have been injected into this enterprise. And this time, the help doesn't come with harangue or strings.
Our partnership with China is not a partnership based on China telling us what we need. It is a partnership of friends working together to meet Kenya's socioeconomic agenda.
The BRI is driving a worldwide infrastructure boom, and tangible changes are occasioning far-reaching transformations. The World Bank report estimates the BRI investment helped lift 8.7 million people from extreme poverty and 34 million from moderate poverty around the world. As the developing world embraces newly found interconnectivity and industrialization, the one center periphery global paradigm that favors only the better off is shifting. The Global South becomes more relevant than ever. On top of that, the BRI is also changing the behaviors of America. Yes, you heard me right. As soon as Washington realized how China's peaceful and constructive engagement began to bear fruit, it started to reflect on its own way of laying footprints overseas. Ever since the end of the Cold War, America's unipolar moment has been consistently defined by lethal interventions. It launched wars, fought conflicts, and is always actively preparing for any military showdown. For the 2-decade war in Afghanistan alone, America spent $2.26 trillion on killing and bombing. That is roughly the same amount of money China spent on building and delivering along the Belt and Road over the past 10 years. So when the BRI is revamping the global infrastructure, America looks at it in a way that its thunder is being stolen. Policymakers in Washington suddenly realize that they have been squandering the US hegemony all along. Now, they want to poster as the public good provider of the same fashion.
The Belt and Road Initiative of the Chinese When we were at the G7, we talked about one of the meetings they used to call the Build Back Better World. It's not that now, it's the PIII, P-triple-I.
Actually, it was PGII. Biden proposed this global investment plan at last year's G7 summit as an answer to the BRI. It is actually rebranding the much vaunted B3W. But that plan, with a pledge of $40 trillion, later went bust in the Capitol. In an abrupt nosedive, America's pledge shrank to only $600 billion for a PGII package. And even this watered-down promise is further crippled by G7 members' each individual self-serving agenda. What has been achieved has left much to be desired. And this year, Biden moves on to a new idea called India, Middle East, Europe Economic Corridor, or IMEC. Well, B3W, PGII, IMEC, Washington seems to be in a hurry to hit all alphabet. But what is missing is the ability and resolve to deliver.
The White House to provide alternatives, viable alternatives for countries who don't want to sign up for the terms that Beijing is on offer.
The G7 offers a Western rival to Beijing's signature infrastructure project, the Belt and Road Initiative.
So one can admit, America did change its policy behavior, but only to a limited extent. Instead of welcoming the opportunities provided by the BRI, America is dead set on a zero-sum game. To be fair, the BRI has never been anti-Washington. A study shows that the United States is likely to benefit from the BRI, even if it doesn't want to be anywhere near the initiative. And when America was busy hatching its own plans that rival the BRI, China even offered to cooperate and kept the BRI's door open to Washington. So when the United States muddled through with its own exclusive and values-based initiatives and urged the world to take sides, its geopolitical gimmick didn't really pan out.
共建“一带一路”根植历史，因应现实，展望未来，不是中国一家的独奏，而是共建国家的合唱，已经成为共建人类命运共同体的重大的实践平台。
China began to open to the world in late 1970s. It allied itself with the global market by joining WTO 2 decades ago. And over the past 10 years, it is proactively driving a new type of economic globalization through the BRI. Up to now, over 150 countries and 30 international organizations joined the initiative, and China's trade volume with the Belt and Road nations has doubled. By 2040, the BRI is about to boost the global GDP by $7 trillion. The BRI has made China one of the biggest stakeholders of the global peace and development. The BRI has certainly made a difference to the world, and in a way, it has changed China as well. It is making the world's second biggest economy more open, more inclusive, and more committed to the integrated global system than ever before.